Hello friends, welcome to Tales Haven. I hope you find my story videos interesting and engaging. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more stories. Thank you as you do so. Sit back, relax as we dive into the story. It was a slow, golden morning in Clarksville, Tennessee, the kind of morning where the sun was warm but not harsh, and the birds outside Mirabel Carter's window were chirping like they had something important to say. But 21-year-old Mirabel wasn't in the mood to listen. She lay curled up in bed, wrapped in a thick, fluffy blanket that her mom had given her 2 Christmases ago, just a few months before she passed away. That blanket had become her comfort zone, her shield, and sometimes her way of hiding from the world. Today was Saturday. No classes, no work, no plans, just her thoughts, which lately had been hard to escape. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She rolled over, reached for it lazily, and squinted at the screen. A message lit up. "Dad, let's talk today. Real talk." She stared at the message for a long second. Mirabel loved her dad. She really did. But ever since her mom's death, something between them had faded. It wasn't hate. It wasn't even anger. It was distance. Silence. Like a crack had split their once-close bond. Before, they were inseparable. They had secret handshakes. They wore matching sneakers. He taught her how to ride a bike, how to drive, and how to fix a leaky faucet. But after her mom died, Christopher Carter, her dad, became someone else. He buried himself in work, started avoiding deep conversations, never smiled the same. He used to be her hero. Now he was just there. She tapped a reply. "Mirabel, sure. You can call me." Not 2 minutes later, the phone rang. She blinked. "Seriously?" she muttered to herself, then picked up. "Hey." His voice came through, calm but low. "Hi, sweetheart." She sat up slowly. "You okay?" "I don't know," he admitted. I've been thinking. And there's something I've been needing to tell you." Mirabel suddenly felt alert. "Tell me what?" Christopher sighed. "It's not easy. It's about your mom. About something that happened around the time she got sick. Something I never told you." Mirabel's heart began to race. Her eyes searched the room as if answers might be hiding behind the bookshelf or under her desk. "Dad," she said slowly. "What happened?" He went quiet. Too quiet. Then, knock knock. Her roommate, Jessie, barged into the room without waiting for permission. She was wearing fuzzy slippers and holding a bowl of cereal. "Mirabel, you need to see this. Some guy across the street just crashed his truck into a mailbox, and now he's offering to fix it with muscles instead of money." Mirabel stared at her. "What?" "I swear. And the cop looks like she wants to arrest both of them." Mirabel couldn't help but laugh. It was ridiculous. And very much a Jessie kind of moment. She turned back to the phone. "Hold on one sec, Dad. Don't hang up." She placed the phone on her pillow, still connected, and followed Jessie out of the room. Back in his home office, Christopher waited. He thought she had ended the call. The screen on his phone dimmed, but the timer was still running. He leaned back in his leather chair, pinched the bridge of his nose, and let out a long breath. "Okay, Chris," he muttered to himself. "Just say it. She deserves to know. You've hidden this for too long." He looked up at the ceiling, as if his late wife were watching from somewhere far above. "I wasn't just working late nights. I wasn't just broken. I was stupid." He swallowed hard. "I was with someone else. It was a moment of weakness, but it happened. And it wasn't just anyone." He shook his head. "It was Eliza, her best friend's mom." He stood up and started pacing. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. And a few months later, Eliza had a baby. She said it was her ex's. But in my gut, I know that boy is mine." He dropped back into the chair and put his face in his hands. "I've been too much of a coward to tell her. I've been pretending. But she's not a little girl anymore. She deserves the truth." He leaned back, eyes closed. "I just hope she never finds out like this." 15 minutes later, Mirabel returned to her room, still laughing. That man really flexed his biceps at a police officer, she said aloud to herself. She reached for her phone and froze. The screen still showed an active call. Call in progress, 16 minutes, 12 seconds. Her breath caught in her throat. She brought the phone to her ear. Her dad's voice came through, soft and regretful. She can never find out. It'll destroy her. Her hand dropped to her lap. Her heart felt like it had stopped. Her father, her dad, had just admitted to sleeping with Eliza, Olivia's mom. Her best friend's mom. And the baby, Liam? She'd always thought he looked a little familiar. The eyes. The dimple. The calm smile. She pressed the screen to end the call. Then she sat there, silent, staring into nothing. Her world had just changed. And he had no idea she'd heard every single word. Mirabel didn't move. The phone sat in her lap, the screen now dark, but her thoughts were flashing like fireworks, loud, blinding, and fast. She had just heard her father's voice. A quiet, broken voice confessing something he never meant for her to hear. He thought he had ended the call. But he hadn't. And now she knew. She knew about the affair. She knew about Eliza, her best friend's mom. And she knew that Liam, the 2-year-old she babysat last summer and helped teach how to clap, might not just be her friend's baby brother, but her own half-brother. She stood up slowly. Her legs were trembling. She looked around her small room, trying to focus, trying to think. Was this real? Was her dad the man she thought he was? Or had she missed signs all along? Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall, not yet. She needed answers. She needed time. She grabbed her phone again and opened a message thread. Group chat. Me, Jesse, Olivia. Her fingers hovered. Could she even talk to Olivia now? Should she? Her best friend since 5th grade. They once made friendship bracelets with BFF forever, written in glitter. Now everything felt fake. Still, she typed. Mirabel. Hey, how old is Liam again? Olivia. Just turned 2 in March. Why? Face with tears of joy. Mirabel. Oh, just forgot. He's growing so fast. Olivia. You literally babysat him for a week and called him Mr. Gigglepants. Face with tears of joy. Mirabel forced a small smile. Olivia had no idea. No clue that the girl asking about Liam might share the same father. She opened Liam's Instagram photo from his birthday. He wore a tiny crown, holding a cupcake. His eyes sparkled. Her heart sank. His eyes looked like hers. A knock came at her bedroom door. Jesse peeked in, holding 2 mugs of cocoa. You alright? You stormed back in here earlier, like you'd seen a ghost. Mirabel sat on the edge of her bed. Jess, can you close the door? Jesse walked in, closed it softly, and handed her a mug. Talk to me. I think my dad cheated on my mom while she was dying. Jesse's eyebrows rose. Wait, what? With Olivia's mom. Jesse gasped. Eliza? Like, Eliza with the amazing chicken pot pie. Mirabel nodded slowly. Jesse sat down, stunned. Girl, are you serious? I didn't find out because he told me. He called me this morning and forgot to hang up. I walked out and he just kept talking. I heard everything. Jesse blinked. That sounds like a Netflix show plot. It doesn't feel like a show. It feels like someone ripped out the floor under me. Jesse reached for her hand. So what now? Mirabel looked down. I need to talk to Eliza. Jesse frowned. Now. I need to know the truth. That afternoon, Mirabel stood on Eliza's front porch, heart pounding. It was a cute blue house with flowers by the steps. The place looked peaceful. She wasn't. The door opened after a few seconds. Mirabel. Eliza smiled. What a surprise. Come in. She stepped inside, the scent of cinnamon and baby lotion filling the air. Liam's toys were scattered across the living room. Eliza led her to the couch. Everything okay? Mirabel didn't sit. I need to ask you something, and I need the truth. Eliza's smile faded. Okay. Who's Liam's father? Eliza's lips parted. Her hands tensed around the mug she was holding. I don't want to play games, Mirabel said, her voice trembling. Please. Eliza looked away. After a long, heavy silence, she whispered, "I told people it was my ex. That's what I wanted to believe. But the truth is, I don't know." Tears stung Mirabel's eyes. "Is there a chance it's my dad?" Eliza nodded. "Yes, there's a chance." Everything slowed. The room blurred. Mirabel didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared. Then, soft footsteps came from the hallway. A little voice called, "Mama?" Liam appeared, rubbing his eyes. He saw Mirabel. "Hi," he said with a sleepy smile. She managed a tiny wave. And as he waddled toward her and hugged her leg with the pure innocence of a child who had no idea what his presence meant, she looked down at him, and she knew. She knew. The dimples. The curls. The familiar look in his soft brown eyes. He wasn't just someone's son. He was her brother. She gently crouched down, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "Hi," she whispered. He grinned and held up a plastic toy car. Zoom. Mirabel smiled back, but her heart was twisting inside her chest. Her brother. Half-brother, yes, but still blood. She had spent so many hours with him last summer, thinking she was just a family friend. Helping him walk, teaching him to say juice, laughing when he called the vacuum the monster. Now she knew the truth. All those moments were more than babysitting. They were memories between siblings, without either of them knowing. Eliza stood nearby, watching quietly. Her hands shook as she held her mug. She had never looked more vulnerable. "I tried to move on," she said softly. "I thought if I didn't speak about it, the guilt would disappear." Mirabel stood up slowly, still watching Liam toddle toward his blocks on the carpet. "It didn't disappear, though, did it?" "No," Eliza whispered. "It only got heavier." "Does Olivia know?" "No. And I don't know how to tell her." Mirabel nodded slowly. "I think we both know. She has to know." Eliza looked down. "I'm scared." "So am I," Mirabel admitted. "But secrets like this, they don't stay buried. Not forever." That evening, back at the apartment, Mirabel sat on the kitchen floor, staring at her phone. She had typed out a message to her dad 5 times, and deleted it every time. Her mind kept going back to her mom. If she were still alive, would any of this have happened? Would her dad still have made that mistake? The truth was, Mirabel didn't know. She wanted to scream, cry, hide, but instead, she stood up and did the only thing she could do. She called him. At Christopher Carter's house. The phone rang once. Twice. Then he answered. "Hey, sweetheart." Mirabel took a deep breath. "We need to talk." His voice became careful. "You sound serious." "I went to see Eliza." Silence. She admitted it. "She said there's a chance Liam is your son." More silence. "I met him again today," Mirabel said. "He hugged me. He smiled at me. And I looked at his face. Dad. I saw you." Christopher's voice was barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. You should be. I was grieving. I was lost. But none of that justifies what I did." Mirabel closed her eyes. "He's just a child. He didn't ask to be born into this." "I know." She paused. "So, what are you going to do?" "I'll do what I should have done 2 years ago," he said. "I'll take a paternity test. No more hiding." The next morning, at a small medical clinic in town, Christopher sat nervously in the waiting room. Mirabel sat beside him, arms crossed, quiet. He had agreed to the DNA test. Eliza had already brought in Liam's sample a day earlier. Now they waited. The nurse returned an hour later with a sealed envelope. Christopher's hands trembled as he opened it. His eyes scanned the page, slowly. Mirabel watched his face. Then he looked at her. Tears were already forming in his eyes. "It's me," he whispered. "He's mine." Mirabel didn't say anything right away. She just leaned back in her chair, stared at the ceiling, and let out a deep breath. It was no longer a suspicion. No longer a painful maybe. It was the truth. Later that day, Mirabel sat outside on the apartment balcony with Jessie, sipping orange juice. Jessie had listened to the full story, wide-eyed, hands on her head the entire time. "So let me get this straight," Jessie said. Your dad had a secret affair while your mom was sick, the other woman had a baby, and now you just found out that kid is your half-brother? Mirabel nodded. Jessie blinked. That's not drama. That's a plot twist. Mirabel gave a sad laugh. Tell me about it. Jessie put an arm around her. How are you not a puddle of emotions right now? I think I already had my meltdown. Right now, I'm just numb. Well, Jessie said, whatever happens next, you're not alone. Mirabel nodded slowly, because the next step was the hardest. Telling Olivia, her best friend, the girl who trusted her like a sister, the girl whose world was about to flip upside down. And Mirabel was the one who had to break the news. Mirabel stood outside Olivia's house, holding her breath. Her fingers gripped the strap of her bag like it might steady her heart. Inside, her thoughts were fighting. Maybe I should come back later. No, this can't wait. What if she hates me? She looked at the front door. It was the same door she had walked through hundreds of times since middle school. They had shared secrets, sleepovers, laughter, and heartbreaks within those walls. But this time, she wasn't bringing gossip or snacks. She was bringing something that could shatter everything. She rang the bell. Moments later, Olivia opened the door with her usual big smile. Hey, stranger. You ghosted me yesterday, she teased. You okay? Mirabel tried to smile. Can we talk? Olivia's brow furrowed. Sure. Come in. They sat on the couch. Liam was with Eliza at the grocery store, which was a blessing. Mirabel needed to say this without distractions. You look nervous, Olivia said, half joking. You're not pregnant, are you? Mirabel let out a breathy laugh. No, nothing like that. Then she looked her best friend in the eyes and said gently, I found out something. And it's big. Olivia sat straighter. Okay. Mirabel hesitated. Then finally, the words came. Eliza and my dad had an affair. While my mom was sick. Silence. Olivia stared at her. Wait, what? Mirabel nodded. It happened years ago. Before Liam was born. My dad never told me. I found out by accident. No. No way. Olivia shook her head slowly. My mom would never. She already admitted it to me, Mirabel said gently. She said it was a mistake. That she didn't plan it. But it happened. Olivia stood up. No. This doesn't make sense. My mom hated cheaters. She left my dad for cheating. I know. And I think that's part of why she kept it secret. Olivia paced the room. Why are you even telling me this? Mirabel's heart cracked. Because Liam is my dad's son. That made Olivia stop cold. What? We did a paternity test. It's confirmed. Olivia's face went pale. She looked away. So, you're saying my baby brother is actually your half-brother? Mirabel nodded, tears welling up. Olivia sat down again, slowly. Her voice was low now. Why didn't my mom tell me? She wanted to protect you. She was scared of what it would do to your family. Olivia's hands trembled as she wiped at her eyes. I don't know what to say. I feel like I don't even know who she is anymore. Mirabel whispered, I felt the same when I found out about my dad. They sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Olivia looked at her. You should hate me. What? Why? Because your mom was dying. And my mom took advantage of your dad's grief. Mirabel shook her head. I don't hate you. I never could. Tears filled Olivia's eyes again. What do we do now? Mirabel reached for her hand. We love Liam. That's where we start. Later that night, Eliza returned home to find Olivia sitting on the front porch steps. She immediately knew something had happened. You talked to Mirabel, she said softly. Olivia didn't speak. Eliza sat beside her. I'm sorry, she whispered. Why didn't you tell me? Olivia's voice cracked. You told Mirabel before me? I didn't tell Mirabel, Eliza said. She came to me with questions. She already knew something was wrong. I couldn't lie to her. And you didn't think I deserved to know the truth? Eliza swallowed hard. I was ashamed, Liv. I didn't want you to see me differently. Olivia turned to her. But I do. I see you completely differently now. Eliza's face fell. But, Olivia added softly. Liam is here. And he's part of this family, no matter what. Eliza blinked back tears. You don't hate me? I don't know what I feel yet, but I know Liam needs all of us. The sky had turned soft orange above the park as the sun began to dip behind the trees. Mirabel sat on the grass, picking little white flowers while Liam ran in circles nearby, pretending to be a superhero. Olivia lay back on the blanket beside her, arms crossed behind her head. They didn't speak for a while. They didn't need to. Sometimes silence said everything. The past few weeks had turned their entire lives upside down. Secrets had come out. Trust had been shaken. But here they were, still together, still trying. And that meant something. Christopher sat on a nearby bench, watching Liam chase butterflies. His face was calm, but his heart was full of emotion. For the first time in 2 years, he felt connected to something bigger than pain or regret. To a second chance. Mirabel glanced at him and smiled. Her dad caught the smile and gave her a small wave. This man had made mistakes. But he was also trying. Really trying. Later that night, back at the Carter house, Mirabel helped her dad clean up the dinner dishes. They had invited Olivia and Eliza over for a small dinner. Liam had fallen asleep halfway through his mashed potatoes, his face smeared with sauce. As they rinsed the plates, Christopher spoke. You didn't have to forgive me, he said quietly. Mirabel paused, then replied, I didn't forgive you all at once. I forgave you a little more each day. He looked at her. I don't deserve you. No, she said with a soft smile. But Liam does. He nodded. I want to be in his life, Mira. Not as a secret. Not as a visitor. I want him to know I'm his dad. Then tell him. Start showing up. Even when it's uncomfortable. Christopher took a deep breath. Okay, I will. The next morning, Liam was playing in the backyard with Olivia when Christopher stepped outside. He knelt beside Liam, holding something in his hands. Hey, buddy, he said softly. Can I show you something? Liam turned around. What is it? Christopher opened his hands and revealed a small wooden box. Inside was a picture of himself and Liam, side by side. Liam smiled. That's me. And that's me, Christopher said. Do you know who I am? Liam tilted his head. Your name's Mr. Chris. Christopher nodded slowly. That's right. But you can also call me something else. Liam's eyes widened. What? Christopher's voice shook. You can call me Dad. If you want. There was silence. Then Liam ran forward and hugged him. Not because he fully understood the words, but because he felt the love. 1 week later, they all gathered at the park again, this time not because of secrets, but because of growth. Mirabel had organized a little picnic for Liam's unofficial welcome into the family. Jessie brought cupcakes. Olivia brought lemonade. Eliza brought Liam's favorite dinosaur blanket. Mirabel stood to say a few words, even though she wasn't great with speeches. I just want to say we've all been through a lot. We've felt hurt, we've felt angry, and we've felt lost. She looked at each of them. But through all that, we still chose to love this boy. Liam didn't ask for a complicated story. He just wants to be loved. She knelt and kissed Liam's cheek. And we're going to love him. Together. Everyone clapped softly, smiles and tears mixing under the trees. Christopher wrapped an arm around Mirabel's shoulder. I'm proud of you, he whispered. I'm proud of all of us, she replied. That evening, as the sun dipped low and the sky turned to pink and purple, Mirabel sat on the swing behind her dad's house. Liam ran in the yard with Olivia, laughing freely. Eliza and Christopher talked quietly near the fence, peacefully for once. And for the first time since her mother died, Mirabel felt whole. Not because things were perfect, but because they were honest. Their family wasn't traditional. It had come from pain, betrayal, and silence. But it had turned into something stronger. Truth. Forgiveness. Love. And that was more than enough. That brings us to the end of this video. If you find this story worth watching, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories. Like and share this video to your friends and loved ones. You can also comment what you feel about the story under the comment section. Your support and engagement encourage me to post more videos. Thanks for watching.